Valentine down 0-2 here. Valentine, though, one of the better two-strike hitters on the Mavericks, according to Maverick hitting coach Boots Day. And the next pitch, a fastball for a strike on the outside corner. What we've seen today is a rather large strike zone from home plate Mike Jarbo. And Valentine very slowly heading back to the dugout. And that's going to bring up Maverick All-Star Mike Sidolka to the plate. The fourth strikeout for Rodriguez. Sidolka, meanwhile, a better hitter on the road than he is at home. Sidolka batting .319 away from the map. First pitch on the way is a fastball. That one in there for a strike, 0-1. Rodriguez really has been locating his fastball well today, keeping it low in the zone. He's been rewarded with a 4-0 lead. Next pitch to Sidolka is taken low for a ball. And it's now 1 ball and 1 strike on the Maverick first baseman. Boy, how about that comeback today by the Washington Nationals? The 1-1 pitch. Change up, misses away. 2-1. Washington came back from down 9-2 and scored the last 9 runs of the ball game, beating the Yankees 11-9. Next pitch is grounded sharply but foul down the first baseline. And that will even things up. Deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Mavericks trail it 4-0. Still looking for their first hit of the game here in the top of the 4th. So rounds the win for Washington. Mariano Rivera takes the loss. Chad Cordero is 13th save. Next pitch swung on and missed. That'll do it for the Mavericks. They go 1-2-3 in the 4th. 4 no-hit innings to start this game by Fernando Rodriguez, and we're now heading into the bottom half of the inning. For the Mavericks, I should say for the Quakes, Johnson, Lopez Leahy coming up against Brandon Whedon right after this. Stay tuned. Desert has to play some flawless defense the rest of the way and keep the Sixers off the base path. As they're trailing 4-0. The Quakes, there's 4 runs on just 2 hits. Took advantage of Billy Buckner wildness in the second inning. Buckner walked 4 batters and then allowed a double with the bases loaded to Josh LeBlanc. First pitch is a fastball. Misses high and away on Ben Johnson. And it's now 1-0 on the Rancho designated hitter. Whedon's 1-0 pitch is fouled back above the screen, up over the roof, and out of play here towards the softball field. And things now evened up at 1 ball and 1 strike. San Jose 11, Bakersfield 8. That's now through 7 innings up in the Bay Area. As the 1-1 pitch, fastball misses upstairs, 2-1. Inland Empire still leading Visalia 3-1. That's through 3 innings at Recreation Park. Modesto leading Lake Elsinore 4-1 after 3. Next pitch swung on and tipped off the glove of Tommy Dueña. Yeah, the count 2-2. Stockton leading Lancaster through 6.5. 6-3 Port. Jethawks appeared to have gotten hot a couple of weeks ago. Might have just started to level off right around now. They should be a strong second-half team in the Cal League South. The 2-2 to Johnson. Curveball hit off the mound. Falu will be there behind the mound. The hard throw to first base is in time. And that was a smart play by Brandon Whedon. He didn't try to do too much to that ball. He knew that Irving Falu would be playing behind it, didn't try to go and reach out and glove it and redirect it or try to stab at it with his bare hand or try to kick it. Let the defense do the job behind him. He's rewarded with the first down of the inning. Baltazar Lopez now the batter. Now back in the second inning. First base was open and Ben Johnson was at the plate. Lopez on deck. Mavericks opted to walk Johnson, not intentionally, but on 4 pitches. The first pitch misses inside of the fastball, 1-0. So Lopez, with runners at first and second and 2 outs, well, he drew a walk, and then Ryan Leahy drew a walk. Well, enough of that inning. So 1-0, fouled off to the left side out of play. And it's now evened up 1-1 on Lopez. Meanwhile, a double up in Oakland has put the A's above the Dodgers 4-3 in the bottom of the 8th. Next pitch fouled back, and the count 1-2. The Dodgers going to have a tough time in the 9th inning going against tough Oakland closer Houston Street. One and two. Whedon looking in as a sign from Duenas, who sets up inside the 1-2 pitch. A comebacker off the glove of Whedon. He runs behind the mound to pick it up. The sidearm throw to first is dug out. An excellent pitch at first base by Mike Sedolka. And a good job by Brandon Whedon getting to that one in time. Now that one was a ball that was hit more sharply. And one that he did have to knock down appeared to be heading up the middle. Got part of the glove off him, not all of it. And it kind of just fell down into no man's land in between the pitcher's mound and where the second baseman was positioned. Quickly, Whedon ran to where the ball was, and a submarine throw over to first base was in the dirt. But Sedolka picked it out in time, just an eyelash in front of Lopez. So 2 outs now for the Quakes, and that'll bring up Ryan Leahy to the plate. The first pitch to Leahy, fastball in there for a strike, 0-1. Leahy, a bases-loaded walk. Came up with his 19th RBI of the year. The 0-1, curveball. That one's taken for a strike. Good-looking bender. And it's now 0-2 on Ryan Leahy. Leahy out of Salem, Massachusetts. 0-2. Right-hander comes over. The fastball misses away. That was a 4-seamer up at 92 miles an hour. But Leahy still behind the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Whedon looking in, but time is called. The 1-2 pitch to Leahy, a curveball in the dirt. That one taken for a ball. The count now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mavericks entered play today just a half game behind the Inland Empire 66ers. Currently leading the Visalia Oaks 3-1. 2-2 is driven out towards left field. Playable ball backing up is Lucas, as well as Falu, and it's Falu makes the catch with 2 hands. Not even in short left field. Well, rather shallow left field, but goes back a long way to get it. That's going to do it for the Quakes. They go 1-2-3 in the 4th. No runs, no hits, no errors, no men left. Mavericks still looking for their first hit of the game. Going to send up Tenrico, Brown, and Duenas here in the 5th. Stay tuned.
Look at that, kind of baseball fans. Mavericks have to start coming up with some offense somewhere. I mean, harp on this fact. Well, they are kind of down 4-0 here. We enter the top of the 5th inning. High Desert, well, they're not scoreboard watching in the dugout, but we are up here, and we know that Inland Empire has the lead over the Oaks. The first pitch swung on and tipped into the ground by Senrizo. And the count now 0-1 on the Maverick left fielder. Senrizo, one of the veterans here in the California League. Now in part of his 4th season as a Cal Leaguer. 3rd season makes that. And he's one of the veterans that's going to have to start things off here for the Mavericks as he sends a ground ball foul just to the left of the third baseline. And he is quickly behind in the count 0-2. And for Senrizo, it's been a couple of change-ups by Fernando Rodriguez Jr. to get out in front of the hitter. Senrizo's used to it, though, always breaking pitches, always off-speed pitches. A lot of these pitchers know better than to give him a fastball, one of the better fastball hitters in the entire league. Meanwhile, catcher Michael Collins heading out to the mound. Mavericks had a chance to get something going in the first. First 2 batters of the game walked. Runners at first and second, nobody out, and then Geraldo Valentin grounded into a 4-6-3 double play. 0-2 to Senrizo. Pitch is on the way, and that's a chopper foul. Again, the exact same location down the left field line. And the count remains at 0-2. Boston won today. They beat Atlanta at Turner Field 5-3. Josh Beckett over Lance Cormier. Jonathan Papelbon, 22nd save. Kevin Euclid, David Ortiz. Home runs in that one. The 0-2 to Senrizo is a fastball that misses low and in. The count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. 4 runs, 2 hits, no errors for the Quakes, the home team. No runs, no hits, no errors for the Mavericks. Top of the 5th inning. Next pitch, Senrizo swung on and missed. A curveball in the dirt, and he's tagged out. That was strikeout number 6 for Rodriguez, and that brings up Rusty Brown to the plate. He flew out to center field back in the 2nd inning. Brown has struggled against right-handed pitching this year, batting just .211 on the right. So trying to counteract that here with a .287 road batting average as he sends one to the right side, and that's going to be a base hit down the right field line. Brown, though, looks like he's going to have to stop at first base. That one was a line drive shot well over the head of the first baseman Lopez towards the corner down the right field line. But Brown held it first with a single. He's now one of the better runners on the Mavericks team. And he stands in at first. That's the first Maverick hit of the game, so hopefully that will open up the floodgates here. And High Desert can tack a couple of runs on the board against Fernando Rodriguez. Tommy Duenas now the batter, going up against his former battery mate when the 2 played at Cedar Rapids last season. Rodriguez is set. The first pitch to Duenas misses inside, 1-0. Fernando has been much better here at home than he has been on the road. 3-1 with a 2.65 ERA at the epicenter and a 6.69 ERA. He scores another Cal League Park. 1-0 to Duenas. Broken back ground ball to the left side from Rodriguez. And he bobbles the ball, and everybody's safe. That will be most definitely another error on Sean Rodriguez. And he now leads the California League in that dubious distinction. That was a double play ball, ladies and gentlemen. Broken back ground ball to the left side. Duenas does not run all too well. And well, Rodriguez looks like he just tried to make the flip to the second baseman Leahy before he had it in his glove. Mavericks trying to keep taking advantage of this Rancho Cucamonga shady defense. Brian McFall comes up. We'll see if High Desert can exploit this here. Mavericks need to run this inning. Jump back in this ballgame. The first pitch to McFall is taken. Now one inside on the fastball. The count now 1-0. 4-0 Quakes. Top of the 5th inning. Mavericks got to muster up some offense pretty soon. The count is 1-0 to Bryant. The next Fernando Rodriguez offering is a fastball. Fouled back. And now to play. The count now evened up in 1-1.
Detroit won on the road today in Chicago. They added to the Cubbies' woes, 9-3 Tiger. Justin Verlander over Marble in that game. Carlos Guillen, the only home run in that contest for Detroit. The 1-1 to McFalls, a slider that misses low and away. It's now 2 balls and 1 strike for the Mavericks right fielder. Ed Lucas stands in on deck. McFall, 2 doubles last night. The 2-1 fouled back against the screen, and the count 2-2. And McFall, over his last 22 games, has 16 extra base hits. Comes into today's game with a 5-game hitting streak. And this would be an excellent time to extend it. Left fielder Pat Riley playing rather deep here. Just a few steps in front of the warning track in left field. The 2-2 to McFall. Curveball. That one fouled off to the right side. It's in the air. Now it's going to find the seat. Well, McFall, Thursday night in Adelanto, came up with a base hit to center field on an 0-2 pitch. That was a curveball that he slammed out to center. It was a pitch that earlier in the year he likely would have swung on and missed. McFall making excellent adjustments. You've seen his batting average rise. And those power numbers, one of the better power numbers here in the California League. He's started to turn it around as the 2-2 pitch is fouled back against the screen once again. So McFall really making Rodriguez work for that strikeout as the count remains at 2-2. Meanwhile, there was a conference on the mound. Michael Collins said what he had to say to Fernando Rodriguez. He's now in a squad back behind home plate. There's a 2-2 pitch. It's on the way to Brian McFall. That's a chopper back by second base. Rodriguez flips it to Leahy. The throw to first is in time. That's a 6-4-3 double play. And the Mavericks waste their opportunity here in the 5th inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 man left. We're now heading into the bottom of the 5th. The score 4-0 Quakes. Don't go anywhere, Mavericks fans. We'll be right back on Talk 960 and HCMavs.com right after this. Stay tuned. Well, High Desert has killed 2 potential rallies with double play balls. Mavericks had runners at first and second, nobody out in the first. Valentin hit into a 4-6-3 double play. Mavericks trying to get something going in the 5th. Runners at first and second with 1 out. And Brian McFall 6-4-3 double play headed the inning for the High Desert Mavericks. So Brandon Whedon heading back out to the mound. In the game, the Quakes lead 4-0. Inland Empire, meanwhile, up in Visalia, they're still leading the 3-1 after 4.5. Oh, Kenny Lofton came up with an RBI single to slow Rafael Furcal and tie the Dodgers-A's game in 4 as Houston Street blows a save. In the top of the 9th inning. That one's still going on. The first pitch to Josh LeBlanc, taken for a strike on the inside corner, and it's now 0-1 from the Quakes center fielder out of Houston, Texas. The next pitch fouled off. The count 0-2. So this is almost like the Red River shootout at the plate. Josh LeBlanc representing Texas. Brandon Whedon representing Oklahoma. We'll see who it'll be, the Sooner or the Longhorns. The 0-2 pitch is on the way. The fastball just misses low and in the count 1-2. Of course, Whedon did not go to Oklahoma. LeBlanc did not go to Texas. We're still just trying to have fun anyway. The next pitch swung on and missed on a big looping curveball. From what we've seen from LeBlanc this year, he's had trouble with those breaking pitches. So he strikes out. With 1 out and nobody on base, that'll bring up Cliff Remily to the plate. Meanwhile, Kenny Lofton reached third base for the Dodgers, and the Dodgers have the go-ahead run at third. 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning. And Houston Street now in danger of not just surrendering the lead, but also giving the lead to the Dodgers. As Nomar Garciaparra stands in. First pitch is a fastball that looks good from up here. And was taken what we assume to be inside of our Cliff Remily. But with how large the strike zone has been today, that's a shocker that Whedon doesn't get the call there. The next pitch is fouled off the left side. Long run for Ed Lucas. Nobody's going to get there. That one bounces in the first row of seats. Well down the left field line. So the count now 1 ball. And 1 strike on Cliff Remily. Remily so far today 0 for 2. A pair of groundouts to second baseman Wilver Perez. Hopefully, several innings from now, we can look back and say, boy, that Maverick bullpen did an excellent job tonight. Maverick 10 on the year, 4.17 ERA away from the Mavs. A 3.86 ERA in this month. Mavericks now 12-5 in June. 12-3 make that in June. A 3.68 earned run average. The 1-1 a curveball, shot to the left side. Lucas gloves it on 1 bounce. The hard throw across the infield in time. Good throw from Lucas. And there are quickly 2 outs for the Quakes with nobody on base here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Meanwhile, the count now 3 balls and 2 strikes on Nomar Garciaparra. And that game going on up north at McAfee Coliseum in the East Bay. Freddy Sandoval now the batter. Tall left-handed hitter. Well, he is a switch hitter, but batting from the left side against Whedon. As Brandon looks in, has his sign. First pitch is on the way, and that one misses well inside. The count now 1-0. 4-0 Quakes, bottom of the 5th inning. Meanwhile, Mavericks in the 6th are going to send up Lucas, Falu, and Perez. So 1-0 to Sandoval. It's fouled off to the left side and out of play. And the count now 1-1. Meanwhile, just moments ago, Nomar Garciaparra grounded out into an inning-ending bounce out to the left side. Eric Chavez threw him out over at first. The next pitch is bounced foul to the right side. And the count now 1-2 on Freddy Sandoval. Quakes 4 runs today on only 2 hits. One was a home run. A solo shot by Pat Riley. There's a shot to the right side. A line drive into the upper deck of stands here. And it's now 1-2 once again on Freddy Sandoval. Looks like he might have splintered off a piece of his bat, so he'll go back and go get a new piece of lumber. Mavericks fans want to remind you that the Highlander Mavericks Clubhouse Show is going to take part tomorrow. You can tune in. The Mavericks Clubhouse Show is going to start at 1:15 in the afternoon. 1:15 p.m. And listen, we're going to be talking to the Mavericks manager, Jeff Carter. There will be plenty to talk about tomorrow in the thick of the California League's first half pennant race. The 1-2 curveball bounce to the right side. That one's down the right field line out towards the Mavericks bullpen. So the count stays in favor of Brandon Whedon. Whedon in so far in this game. Has gone 2 2/3. Gave up that one run on the solo blast by Riley in the third. The next pitch fouled off again by Sandoval. Did an excellent job of taking his cut today. And the count 1-2. Whedon ready once more. His next offering swung on and missed. The fastball, and Sandoval was actually in front of it. Did not make contact, swung from his heels. And Whedon gets him 1-2-3 with 2 strikeouts in the fifth. For the Quakes, no runs, no hits, no errors, no men left. Heading into the sixth inning, the 4-0 lead for Rancho Cucamonga. The 9-1-2 batters coming up for the Mavs. Don't go anywhere, Mavericks fans. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Welcome back, Mavericks fans. Now heading into the sixth inning, Mavericks going to try and come up with some offense here. Red Lucas leads it off. Mavericks only hit today through the first 5 innings. A 1-out double in the top of the fifth by Rusty Brown. So Lucas the batter. He's been the lone batter in this Heineken lineup that really hasn't found his stroke in June. He grounds one down the left field line, and that's a fair ball into the corner. So as soon as that has been said, Lucas taking a big cut around first, but he has to head back to the bag. And getting to that one quickly was Pat Riley. That one just not hard enough struck down the left field line for Lucas really to turn on a jet and turn that into a double. So Ed back at the first base bag. He doesn't want to make the first out of the inning after already reaching on a base hit. So he wisely gets back to first base. So with nobody out and a runner on first, the batter is going to be Irving Falu. Mavericks now his feet on the base pads. Lucas being held on at first by Baltazar Lopez. The first pitch on the way to Falu. That's a changeup taken for a strike. The count now 0-1. Every inning that the Mavericks have put runners on base today, and that's been the first and the fifth, they hit into a double play. So Falu hoping to buck that trend. The 0-1 to Irving is fouled away to the left side, out of play. And it's quickly 0-2 on the Mavericks shortstop. But Falu, one of the Mavericks' excellent contact hitter. Falu has only struck out 19 times this year. So he has only drawn 16 walks. Starting really to develop that pop in his bat that the Royals are looking for. Collins moves outside. Throw to first base, not in time. Irving, a grand slam 2 nights ago for the Mavericks. Mavericks were down 8-2 at the time and made it an 8-6 ball game. High Desert eventually won that one 9-8. No balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out, runner at first. Mavericks down by 4 in the top of the 6th. Runner takes the second. The pitch misses low and away, and it's now 1 ball and 2 strikes on Falu. So Irving back in there is Wilbur. Taking some cuts from the on-deck circle. And the throw again back to first base, not in time. Now in Falu's 8-game hitting streak. He's batting .412 over that time. Scoring 7 runs, notching in 8. Cleaning up with 3 stolen bases. He had 5 RBIs 2 nights ago. That game he hit the grand slam. Another throw back to first base, and once again, heading back in time. Ted Lucas. Fernando Rodriguez working on a solid outing for the Quakes. Here he is against Falu, the 1-2 pitch coming up in a moment. Here it is. And that one's whacked to the right side, and off the glove of first baseman Baltazar Lopez into short right field. Falu will reach safely. And we're going to have a scoring decision in just a moment as Lucas moves to second. And that's going to go on an error by the first baseman Baltazar Lopez. Lopez stuck out his glove. And again, that was a double play chance for the Quakes. They just stuck it out there. Saw it glance off of the glove. And Falu got around on that pitch, hit it pretty hard. Not get credit for the hit, though. Baltazar Lopez. Comes up with his first error of the season. Here's the first pitch for Wilber Perez. And that one's a slider that misses just off the corner. And it's now 1-0 on the Mavericks' second baseman. Perez 0 for 1 today. And over his hitting streak, which now stands at 6 games, he's batting .476. There's a home run, 4 runs scored, 5 RBIs over that time. Again, this is another chance for the Mavericks. And hopefully a couple innings from now, we won't be looking back and saying, well, back then in the top of the 6th, Mavericks wasted another chance with runners at first and second and nobody out. Middle infield is playing so close to the bat. Now they back off as the 1-0 pitch swung on and missed. Not the best bat speed by Perez. And the count now evened up at 1-1. Meanwhile, the Visalia Oaks have tied it up. Now 3-3 against the Inland Empire 66ers in Central California. Good news for Heidegger. The 1-1 to Perez is driven out towards left field. Coming into the ball is Riley, and he hauls in that line drive. Both runners having to go back to their bases. Perez got around on that one and hit it hard to the left side, but does not get credit for a base hit as Pat Riley was there to scoop that one up. Runners still at first and second, 1 out now. Geraldo Valentin steps in. Valentin 0 for 1. One of 6 strikeouts today by Fernando Rodriguez. Looks like it was another Reed Brignac home run. That's what tied it up for the Oaks in the bottom of the 5th. Of course, he had a 3-run home run, a walk-off home run last night for the Oaks. Take back to second base, and back in time is Ed Lucas. So Valentin at the plate. He's batting .314 against the righties this year. The right-hander comes home, and that one's lined to the right side, and that will be a base hit in front of Cliff Remley. Being held at third base, however, is Ed Lucas, and that's a good thing. A strong throw from right field. However, the ball got behind catcher Michael Collins. Wasn't able to glove it correctly. But meanwhile, the Mavericks now have the bases loaded for first baseman Mike Stodolka. Now, he's the leader of this team. He is an all-star in the California League, and not to put any more pressure on Mike Stodolka's shoulders. But you want your biggest player up in this type of the ball game. And Mike now really has to get things started for the Mavericks, stepping in. 1 out, bases loaded. After that single to run right side by Geraldo Valentin. So Falu now on second, Lucas at third. There's a bit of a conference on the mound. Pitching coach Eric Bennett coming out to talk to Rodriguez. And he's now going to be hurried by home plate umpire Mike Jarbo. Dodgers and A's now in the top of the 10th inning. Up at McAfee Coliseum in Alameda, California. And we'll update plenty of Major League scores for you. Get them all out there for you. But first, let's see what Mike Stodolka can do with the bases loaded here against Fernando Rodriguez. Quakes middle infielders playing very close to the second base bag. The first pitch on the way to Mike, and that's a ground ball to the right side. Baltazar Lopez goes to second for the first one. The return for the first is off the glove of Lopez. Trying to come home from third base now is Irving Falu. He is safe. 2-run score for the Mavericks, and they now trail this game 4-2. And we assume there will be an error there somewhere. Another one by the Quakes. As the Mavericks really luck out there, Mike Sadolka sent a ground ball to the right side. Could have been an inning-ending double play, but the return throw from Fernando Rodriguez was offline. That allowed 2 Mavericks to score. Scoring on the play, Lucas and Falu. And High Desert has now cut into the Quakes lead by half. And that's going to go as an error to the pitcher, Fernando Rodriguez, who had to cover the base. Now recorded 3-6, his third error of the game for the Quakes. Runner on first now with 2 outs, and Juan Senrizo at the ditch. The first pitch on the way, and that's missing upstairs. The count now 1-0. So Sadolka does get credit for the ground out RBI. And Sadolka now, 34 runs batted in for the Mavericks this year. Second on the team by Brian McFall. Next pitch of Sadolka swung on and missed. A changeup, and the count now 1-1 on the Mavericks center fielder. So Valentin was forced to second. The only Maverick base runner now again. Sadolka from first base. The Mavericks looking for a key extra base hit here from Juan Senrizo. Tying run at the plate for High Desert. The 1-1 pitch is a chopper behind the mound. Charging the ball is the second baseman Leahy. The hard throw to first is in time. And that'll take care of the Mavericks in the 6th inning. High Desert, though, tacks on 2 runs. Those 2 runs, they were both unearned. 2 runs coming on 2 hits. There were 2 errors and 1 man left on base. Mavericks taking advantage of some shoddy Rancho Cucamonga fielding. And, well, High Desert cuts into the Quakes lead by half. 4-2 Rancho, now heading to the bottom of the 6th inning. Stay tuned, Mavericks fans. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Pat Riley leading it off for Rancho Cucamonga in the game to Mavericks. Now just 2 runs down it. Takes the first pitch for a ball inside on the fastball from Whedon. And the count now 1-0 on Riley. He'll be followed by Collins and Rodriguez for the Quakes here in the bottom of the 6th. 1-0, and that hits him in the ankle. Pat Riley hit by a pitch, and Whedon didn't mean to get that one away from him. Meanwhile, Tommy Blamiak having a word with the umpire. He was squawking over there, and Riley, he was walking down the first baseline. Tommy Blamiak still has something to say over to the hitter. And you wonder if that was possibly in retaliation for Riley. Really standing and admiring his home run back in the 3rd inning. Well, He's hit by a pitch. And that'll bring up Michael Collins to the plate. Collins 0 for 1 in this game. Drew a walk in the second. Bounced down to short in the third inning. That is our middle infielder. Looking to turn 2 here. Whedon is set. The first pitch on the way is a curveball. That one misses up and in. And now 1 ball and no strike on catcher Michael Collins. Collins will occasionally go after pitches and swing at bad pitches. And he can be fooled by sliders blowing away and some breaking pitches. And boy, if you leave one up there in the middle of the zone, he is excellent at hitting mistakes. With the runner going, the 1-0 hit on the ground to the left side on the line. Irving Falu catches it. He tags out the runner, and that's the double play the Mavericks were looking for. Line out to the shortstop, and Irving Falu turns the unassisted double play, goes and tags out the runner. And there are quickly 2 outs with nobody on base for Rancho Cucamonga. Mavericks really luck out. A line drive to the high desert shortstop. As the runner was heading to second. Now Falu wouldn't have been there unless he was trying to cover the second base bag. He was breaking towards the base, and that's exactly where the line drive was hit. First pitch is on the way to Fernando Rodriguez. He drives one deep to left field. That one is off the base of the wall. That one bounces back, arrow by Valentin, and he gets it in to Wilber Perez. And that's a 2-out double for Rodriguez, who will not stay quiet for long. 2 strikeouts on the day prior to that double. But Rancho now is a key runner on second base here, with 2 outs in the 6th inning, and Ben Johnson steps again. Meanwhile, pitching coach Steve Rancho walking very Rancho-like out to the mound. Steve always walking very slowly out to the mound. This time he's actually got a little bit better of a pace out to the mound, but the other time, you watch Steve walking out to the mound there, and, well, taking his time. Well, not this time. Meanwhile, the Mavericks have a pitcher getting loose over in the bullpen. And that looks like it's left-hander Adam Rowe starting to warm up, as Rancho now heads back to the dugout. Wondering, because, of course, Rowe is the left-hander. There are left-handers coming up in Lopez, Leahy, LeBlanc, and Remily. Well, Rowe is going to factor into this game. Hopefully that won't be until the 7th inning. As Whedon trying to get Johnson here. The first pitch is on the way. The fastball misses off the corner. The count 1-0. 4-2 Quakes. Bottom of the 6th inning. Mavericks trying to keep it that way for the time being. 1-0 on Johnson. Runner on second waiting. The 1-0 pitch misses away. And it's now 2-0. Looks like Mavericks pitching around Johnson here to try and bring the lefty up so they can bring in Adam Rowe. And will there be an intentional walk? Yes, there will be. The last 2 pitches of this sequence appear to be intentional walks. There was a look back to second base. Falu and Perez both trying to get back to the bag, but there was no pickoff move as the next intentional pitch misses away. And Whedon's final pitch misses outside. That's the walk, and we wouldn't be surprised here to see Jeff Carter crowding out of the dugout. Now the Mavericks could bring in left-hander Adam Rowe to face Lopez, Leahy, and LeBlanc, and here he comes. Of course, remember the last time the Mavericks walked Johnson to face Lopez. Oh, Mavericks walked Lopez too, and they walked Leahy, and then LeBlanc hit a double. So sometimes the plans backfire. That will do it for Brandon Whedon, and an excellent outing for him. Good effort. We'll get you the line scores as well as the statistics for Adam Rowe coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned, Mavericks fans. Plenty of exciting California League baseball coming up after this commercial break. We'll be right back.
Coming into pitch, of the 7 runners Rowe has inherited this season, 5 have come across the score. But Rowe knows that statistic doesn't mean a thing. Here he is trying to work to Baltazar Lopez. Rowe comes into this game 3-1, a 6.08 ERA. Only batting .339 against him, but boy is he tough on the lefty. Sidearm delivery. The first pitch is taken just outside by Lopez. The count 1-0. Rowe came up with a couple scoreless innings a couple nights ago. That was Thursday night in Adelanto. Part of that resurgent Maverick bullpen. They threw 5 scoreless innings in that game. Next pitch swung on and missed on the changeup, and the count now evened up at 1-1 on Lopez. Baltazar today 0 for 1, threw a walk, scored, and bounced back to the box. The 1-1 pitch from Adam Rowe is coming up. Here it is. That one's a fastball that misses low, and the count now 2 balls and a strike. Brandon Whedon went 3 2/3 innings, gave up 2 hits, 1 run was earned, walked 1, struck out 4, hit a batter, and is responsible for the runners at first and second base. The 2-1 to Lopez is swung on and missed. And that was a fastball from Rowe up at 84 miles an hour. Lopez couldn't catch up to it. That one was spotted just a bit up and away. A borderline strike had Lopez not swung. He goes after it, and it's deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. See if Rowe can provide the relief the Mavericks so desperately need here with a runner on second base. The 2-2 pitch misses outside, and the count now full. And High Desert would much rather work to Baltazar Lopez here and have to face Ryan Leahy with the bases loaded. 3-2. Mavericks down by 2 in the bottom of the 6th, so runners will be going. Rowe is set. And the full count offering is fouled away back against the screen. We'll do it all over again. Rowe out of Mount Vernon Nazarene University in Mount Vernon, Ohio, the NAIA school that produced former number 1 overall pick and former Los Angeles Dodger Tim Belcher. And he is ready once again. And here it comes. Look back to second base. And getting back in time with no throw is Ben Johnson. So Rowe trying to keep the runners close to the bag, make sure they don't get a good jump when they take off on this pitch. Let's see if it works here. 3-2. The left-hander comes home, and that one's a ground ball to the right side. It's in play. Wilber Perez scoops it up. The throw to first is in time. And Rowe comes in, retires his man, leaves the 2 runners on the base paths. That will do it for the Quakes in the 6th. No run, 1 hit, no errors, 2 men left on base. We're heading to the 7th. Mavericks trail it 4-2. Coming up for High Desert, Brown, Duenas, and McFall with a Mavericks rally. 4-2. Quakes. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Mavericks fan. Fernando Rodriguez doing a strong game for Rancho Cucamonga tonight. He stays in this one here at the top of the 7th inning. And he's going up against Brown, Duenas, and McFall for High Desert. High Desert trails this game 4-2 in the top of the 7th inning. Both Mavericks runs today are unearned. The Quakes have committed 3 more errors. You've always figured, sooner or later, as long as the Mavericks just get the bat on the ball, the Quakes defense will allow them to get opportunities. Next pitch misses inside on Brown. The count now 1-0. The High Desert DH. Rusty 1 for 2. Singled his last time up. Getting up outside is Collins. The next pitch is a fastball that misses low. And it's now 2 balls and no strikes on Brown. Stockton won. They beat Lancaster 8-4 up at Banner Island Ballpark. Ford the win. Kellen robbed the loss. Save to Coleman. Next pitch, fastball in there, inside corner. Well located. And the count now 2-1 on Rusty Brown. And that's going to cause Michael Collins to go out and have a word with his pitcher. Bakersfield, well, they couldn't pull off the upset at San Jose today. San Jose outlasts the Blaze. Winning 13-8, Darren Sapp the win. Stopping in the long. The save is Dustin Edrick. Ben Harrison, Stephen Holm, the home runs in that game. The 2-1 to Rusty. Hit on the ground, past the diving Freddy Sandoval. That's in between the shortstop and the third baseman in the left field for a base hit. So Rusty Brown once again comes up with a single. And with nobody out and the runner on first, that brings up Tommy Duenas. Duenas 0 for 2, though he reached on an error his last time up. Inland Empire, Visalia still scoreless after 6 innings up north. I should say tied 3-3. The 6th inning was scoreless. Tied 3-3 heading into the 7th. The first pitch misses low on Duenas, and the count now 1-0 on the High Desert catcher. 4-2 Quakes, top of the 7th inning. Mavericks still looking for their first extra base hit of the night. And they're looking to change the tone in this one. Mavericks have been trailing the entire way. The 1-0 to Duenas, line to the left side. Does that stay fair? It absolutely does. It's into the left field corner. Rounding second base on his way to third is going to be Brown. He will stop there. Into second base is Tommy Duenas. And the Mavericks in business here at the top of the 7th. And Ezra now is a tying run at second base. With runners at second and third and nobody out, that's going to bring up Brian McFall to the plate. And, well, there's that extra base hit that the Mavericks were looking for. It comes up off the bat of Tommy Duenas. And Duenas figuring out his old battery mate. The two of them worked together, of course, last year at Cedar Rapids in the Midwest League. Duenas coming over from the Angels organization. Tommy last season for Cedar Rapids, 6 home runs and just 191 at-bats for the Colonel. So Brian McFall now the batter. Infield playing at regular depth for the Quakes. First pitch on the way to Bryant. And that's a fastball that misses low and away in the count 1-0. That fastball. Lower velocity fastballs we've seen from Rodriguez. Clocked at just 86 miles an hour. And the count pushed to 1-0. On deck at Lucas. The 1-0 pitch is popped up on the infield. It looks like it's going to be the catcher, Michael Collins, waiting for it. And he finally puts that one away. And that was not what the Mavericks needed. 1 out. Runners hold at second and third. So Ed Lucas's turn to try and come up with a key base hit here. Lucas 1 for 2, singled and scored in that 6th inning. Both runs coming across on the bat of Mike Sidolka. Then a ground ball with the bases loaded to the right side. The first baseman Lopez threw the ball to Rodriguez for 1 out at second base. But the return throw to the pitcher, Fernando Rodriguez, was not in time at first, went off his glove for an error. 2 runs came across the score. The first pitch to Lucas is on the way. That's a curveball in there for a strike. And it's now 0-1 on the Mavericks' third baseman. 4-2 Rancho Cucamonga, but the tying run for High Desert at second base. Irving Falu on deck for the Mavericks. The 0-1 pitch is on the way. That's a check swing on a slider. Lucas went around
and he's now behind in the count 0-2. Well, the Mavericks at the plate this entire week, really showing excellent resolve, excellent focus. And well, it's going to take a lot of focus here from Ed Lucas to try and bounce back here in this 0-2 count. Collins sets up outside. The 0-2 pitch misses upstairs. And that was a 77-mile-an-hour changeup. And it's now 1 ball and 2 strikes on the Mavericks' third baseman. 2 outs. I should say 2 strike hitting. Really one of the Mavericks' strengths this year, especially Valentin and Mike Stodolko. See if Lucas falls into that category as well. The 1-2 is swung on and missed on the fastball. And he is down on strike. The runners still at second and third base. 2 outs in the inning, and here comes Irving Falu. And he's been one of the Mavericks' most focused hitters this week. Falu has that 8-game hitting streak, adding .412 over the time, scoring 7 runs, knocking in 8. He has runners at second and third, and 2 outs. We'll see if he can keep that streak going here against Rodriguez, trying to go 7 strong. The first pitch on the way, and that misses up and away. The count now 1-0 in the High Desert shortstop. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Mavericks. 4 runs, 3 hits, 3 errors for the Quakes. And all 4 runs in the first 3 innings. The next pitch is chopped to the right side. Scooping that one up and bobbling at second base is Leahy. He recovers, though, and throws out Irving Falu over at first. And the Mavericks waste an excellent opportunity here in the 7th inning. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 men left stranded. There were runners at second and third, and nobody out, and High Desert can't push them across. That will do it heading into the bottom of the 7th. Still 4-2 Quakes. We'll be right back after the 7th inning stretch. Stay tuned, Mavericks fans. Welcome back, Mavericks fans. Now the bottom of the 7th inning. Quakes on top of High Desert, 4-2. For Rancho Cucamonga against left-hander Adam Rowe. It's going to be Ryan Leahy, Josh LeBlanc, and Cliff Remley. The righty followed by 2 lefties here. Rowe in the game. Meanwhile, the Mavericks have a reliever getting loose. Looks like that's Jared Plummer starting to warm up. The first pitch showing bunt is Leahy. He pulls it back. And the count now 0-1. That pitch was in there. Oaks and 66ers still tied up at 3 in the 7th inning. Up at Recreation Park. Hope all of you are donning your Visalia Oaks caps tonight. The 0-1 pitch taken low and away. And things now evened up here. 1 ball and 1 strike. Leahy today 0 for 1. Drew a walk in the 2nd inning. That was an RBI walk. Came with the bases loaded off of Billy Buckner. He popped up to short. short left field in the fourth inning. So 1-1. Fastball misses away, and the count now 2 balls and a strike on Ryan Leahy. Modesto leading Lake Elsinore 4-3. That's through 6 innings up north. The next pitch misses upstairs, and the count now 3 balls and a strike on Ryan Leahy. Leahy trying to extend his hitting streak. Came in at 7 games today. Meanwhile, Tommy Dueñas extended his to 5 games with his base hit to the left side. The 3-1 is driven deep out to left field by Leahy. He got a lot of that one. Way back at the track. That one's gone. Oh, it's off the top of the wall. That one off the advertisement. And that one comes back in. That's going to be a leadoff double. I thought that one bounced off the top, the second row of advertisements here, which would mean that would be a home run. That's what it appeared to be from up here. And the Quakes are saying, yeah, that one was up off the second row of advertisements. Now Bobby Mitchell coming over and having a word with the home plate umpire. It looked like that ball bounced off above the yellow line, and we're going to take a look at some of the replays here to see if we can take a look at whether or not that one did bounce off the top. It's kind of grainy in looking at the replays. Oh, it absolutely did. That one absolutely bounced well over the yellow line, and that should be a home run. I'd be surprised to see them change it here. Meanwhile, Bobby Mitchell still arguing it now with a home plate umpire. And Hidez are really hoping to pull off a steal here. And having the play stand, that one should be Leahy's first home run of the year. And Bobby Mitchell still arguing that one. We've seen the replays. And it's going to stand as a double. Ooh, the Mavericks catch a break. That one bounced about 4 feet over the yellow line and straight away. Well, I should say the left center field power alley. Now Leahy's pleading his case. Now we saw the replays up here. Of course, this is a TV game here in Rancho Cucamonga. And it looked like the replays show that that one bounced over the yellow line. So it looks like the referee, that umpire that ref the U.S. soccer game today, back here on this field. The next pitch misses outside. And the count now 1-0 on Josh LeBlanc. Mavericks catch a break. Well, anyway, Leahy extends his hitting streak to 8 games. Let's see if the Mavericks can keep this Quakes team off the scoreboard here in the 7th. Ed Lucas now coming over and having a word with Adam Rowe. Meanwhile, the Mavericks trailing after 6 innings this year. Just 5-24 on the season. So we're ready once again. Rowe looks at second base, comes home. LeBlanc bunts one, foul, back behind home plate. And it's now a ball and a strike. And as always, when you come to epicenter, and the Quakes have any sort of a rally going, you have to put up with the home team here playing music after every single pitch, trying to rattle the pitcher. Bremer, the mascot of the Quakes, dancing on top of the high desert dugout now. And all just trying to psych out this Mavericks squad and keep the crowd into it. 1-1. Mavericks trailing 4-2 in the bottom of the 7th inning. LeBlanc shows bunt again. The pickoff look back to second base. There is no throw. Mavericks tried to shift. Originally, Falu had been holding the runner close to the bag. But Falu stepped away from the base, and as soon as he did that, Perez broke to the bag, and Falu, I should say, Rowe, looked over towards Perez, but did not give him the ball. So 1-1 here on LeBlanc. Rowe looks back at second again. The next pitch is a bunt. That one a foul ball. And he bunted that one. It looked like off of his foot. And so quickly LeBlanc now behind 1-2 as he's unable to lay the bunt out. That's not something you'd like to see from your leadoff hitter. I don't see him getting on base, playing fundamentally sound baseball. And laying bunts over when he is asked to. He could not sacrifice. We'll see if Bobby Mitchell gives him another shot here. 1-2. Rowe looks at second. The left-hander comes home with a curveball. Misses just low and inside. That's going to draw Duena back out to the mound as the between-pitch music continues here. Duena just offers a word of encouragement to Adam Rowe, now back behind the plate, getting back down into his crouch. 2-2 the count. Left-hander is set, looking back at second base. The 2-2 is driven out towards left field. Coming in, it's going to be a long run for Valentine. Still running, has it in his sights, takes the running catch for the out. And going back to second base is Ryan Leahy. So LeBlanc retired. That's the first out for the Quakes here in the 7th inning. Now we'll bring up Cliff Remley to the plate. Remley so far 0 for 3 today, and all 3 of those at-bats against right-handed pitching. We'll see how he responds here in his first at-bat against southpaw Adam Rowe. Rowe out of Worcester, Ohio. But he's got to be about the only Ohioan that's not an Ohio State Buckeyes fan. No, he does not like the Buckeyes. Thinks their fans are a little arrogant. The first pitch is on the way, and that's a curveball that misses inside. And the count now 1 ball and no strikes on LeBlanc. That was a 68-mile-an-hour curve piece that appeared to have floated into the zone, but, well, he didn't get the call. So 1-0 now to Remley. Rowe looks back at second. Left-hander comes home again. That's swung on and missed on the curveball. That one only up at 71 miles an hour. Things are evened up here. Final of the 7th inning. Runner on second base. 1 out, 4-2 Quakes. Bottom of the 7th. Rowe peering in again. The 1-1 is swung on and kicked foul just to the left of home plate. And the count now 1-2 on Cliff Remley. Remley 3 bounce outs today. 2 to second base, 1 to shortstop. Mavericks 11-3, and Billy Buckner starts this year, but they're going to have to rally. They want to up that mark. The next pitch fouled back. And it stays at 1-2 on Remley. Florida beat Toronto today. Down in South Florida, Brian Moeller the win, Casey Jansen the loss. Home run to Mike Jacobs of the Marlins. And 8-2 Marlins in that one. So 1-2 to Remley is poked to center field. It's going to be a long run for Senriso, but he will be there, making a running catch coming into the infield. And luckily for the Mavericks, that one is held up here in this thin air just long enough. So holding at second is Leahy. Remley is retired, and Freddy Sandoval now the batter. And it looks like Jeff Carter going to go to the bullpen as Adam Rowe has done a fine job here against the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes hitter. Coming in with a runner, I should say, he started the inning by giving up a double, but then got pop-outs from LeBlanc and Remley. An excellent defense from the Mavericks outfielders and having to make running catches. But that will be the night for Rowe, so we're going to take a brief pause here for a commercial break. And we come back. Mavericks going to the pen. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. A Titan Insurance pitching change coming right up. We'll be back. Atencio, the right-handed flamethrower, going to work against Freddy Sandoval, who struck out 3 times today. Atencio is set with a runner going. The first pitch on the way. That's taken for a strike. The throw down to third base, and they got him. The out was made, and a tag out made by Ed Lucas. It looked like the runner Leahy tried to take third base and seeing that no one was covering, but you got to wake up pretty early in the morning to try and fool these Mavericks defense. So, thrown out at third, Ryan Leahy. Atencio throws only 1 pitch and gets out of the jam. We're now heading into the 8th. 4-2 Quakes. Don't go anywhere, Mavericks fans. For High Desert coming up. Fedez, Valentin, Sadolka. We'll be right back with the Maverick Rally right after this. Welcome back, Mavericks fans. That will be the 9th for right-hander Fernando Rodriguez. And it was an outstanding night indeed for the right-hander. He goes 7 innings strong. Gives up 5 hits, 2 runs, they were both unearned. Walked 2, struck out 7. Coming in to throw for Rancho Cucamonga is left-hander Joe Torres. An interesting move to bring him into the game here. So late in the game, when the Mavericks lead 4-2, Torres always responsible for so many late-inning Maverick comebacks. He has really proved to be the cooler for this Rancho club against High Desert this year. Really almost notorious for giving up runs to High Desert hitting. Now, I hope I haven't jinxed that enough. Wilver Perez steps in. Wilver 0 for 2 so far in this game. Torres often has trouble throwing strikes. The first pitch misses high and away, and the count now 1-0. On the season, Joe, 2-1, a 4.44 ERA in 26 1/3 innings. He's walked 31 and struck out 30. The 1-0 to Fedez misses upstairs, and the count now 2-0. Now, when Torres is throwing strikes, he can be dangerous, a very dangerous pitcher. But it's all just that big if. If he can throw strikes, boy, there is some movement. Very difficult to pick up. The 2-0 misses low, and it's now 3 balls and no strikes on Wilver Fedez. Top of the 8th inning, 4-2 Quakes. Torres has his sign, and the 3-0 pitch is on the way. That one called strike on the outside corner. And the count now 3-1. That was a borderline strike to Wilver Fedez. Torres out of the Bronx, working from the third base side of the mound. The 3-1 taken for a strike on the inside corner. And it's now 3-2 on Wilver. Torres battling back here. Joe looks in. Big pitch coming up. The 3-2 to Fedez. Misses well outside. That is ball 4. And Wilver starts off the top of the 8th with a walk for High Desert. Torres is having to learn how to pitch once again. Now, if you've been paying attention to Maverick baseball in the last couple of years, you've heard his story. He's a former first-round draft pick by the Angels. Former number 1 overall prospect in the Angels system. And again, learning how to pitch all over again. He had Tommy John surgery, and 10 miles an hour dropped off his fastball. First pitch on the way to Geraldo Valentin, and that one's taken for a strike on the inside corner. So Torres, when he gets that first pitch strike over, well, he's a much more dangerous pitcher. So 0-1 now to Valentin. Close stance from the right side. Torres set again. And the 0-1 on the way. That one misses up and in. And the count now evened up at 1 ball and 1 strike as Mike Sidolka stands in on deck for High Desert. Torres is ready, set at the belt. And the throw back to first base, not in time. Back safely. Not even a dive. It's Wilver Perez. Torres just trying to keep the runner on it over there, close to the bag. Well, the 66ers have taken a lead in Visalia. Now 4-3 Inland Empire heading into the 8th. Meanwhile, the 1-1 on the way. That's line to the right side. That's going to be a base hit into right field. Rounding second base on his way to third is Perez. And holding it first is going to be Geraldo Valentin. But runners now at the corners with nobody out for the Mavericks here in the 8th inning. Mavericks, though, today just 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. But here's the changing that as Mike Sidolka steps in. Came up with the bases loaded in the 6th inning. Sent a ground ball to the right side. They returned. He got the lead runner, not the lead runner, but the force out at second as Valentin was retired. However, the return throw to first was off the glove of first baseman Baltazar Lopez for an error on Lopez. And that allowed 2 Mavericks runs to score. Meanwhile, pitching coach Eric Bennett going out to the mound to have a word with Torres. As Mike Sidolka, well, in the spirit of the U.S. Open, I'll just say that Mike looks like someone about to stand over his golf shot. Mike, though, always so focused at the plate. He is one of the Mavericks hitters that really has a plan when he goes up there and knows what he wants to do. He has a mindset. He visualizes where he wants to put the ball and makes adjustments within each at-bat. And that is precisely why he's such an excellent 2-strike hitter on this High Desert team. Well, Bennett said what he needed to say to Torres. So Sidolka stepping back up there with runners after corners. And nobody out here in the top of the 8th inning. Again, the Mavericks trail this one by a score of 4-2. And on deck for High Desert is Juan Senrizo. Torres took a while to get set, but the left-hander now ready. First pitch on the way to Sidolka. That one misses inside for a ball. The count now 1-0. As Joe unable to get that first pitch over for a strike. Mike batting .320 against the Quakes this year. That is 0 for 3 thus far today. He's also struck out once. Look back to first base and the throw there. In time. Meanwhile, as a replacement, Ryan Leahy has been taken out of the game at second base. It's Nate Sutton for Rancho Cucamonga. Looks like Leahy might have been injured sliding into third moments ago. The 1-0. And that one misses and gets away from the catcher. Collins coming around to score easily is going to be Wilver Perez. The ball goes into the Mavericks dugout. And we would like to think that that's going to mean Valentin can take third. But no, he's going to have to go back to second. But the wild pitch from Joe Torres puts a runner across the plate for High Desert, and the Mavericks now trail by only 1. So Perez scores. Valentin to second base, and the Mavericks have the tying run 180 feet away with nobody out here in the top of the 8th inning. But still, a lot has to happen before the Mavericks can really feel confident about this game. A good thing for High Desert. Mavericks have their big guns coming up right here against Joe Torres. And not only that, but the Mavericks have their best hitter at drawing walks on the entire squad up against Torres. As Sidolka on the year has drawn 42 walks, and that's why he has an on-base percentage of .420. 2-0 to Mike. Torres is set. Left-hander looks back at second base. And now comes home, and that one misses high and away. The count now 3 balls and no strikes on Mike Sidolka. Big gap in left center field for Mike. They have him to pull, actually, as center fielder Josh LeBlanc playing over towards right center. The 3-0 pitch. And that one misses inside, gets behind the catcher, but Collins stays with it. Mike draws the walk, and High Desert now has runners at first and second with nobody out. 1 run in. Juan Senrizo stepping up to the plate, but that's going to be it for Torres. Bobby Mitchell has seen enough. They're going to go to the bullpen. Pointing to the bullpen already, so time for another pitching change here. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with another Titan Insurance pitching change right after this. Joe Torres came into this game, did not get an out, gave up one hit, walked two batters, is responsible for one run. It was earned. He's also responsible for the runners at first and second base. The Quakes going to their closer early on in this game. Nobody out here in the top of the eighth. Tying run just 180 feet away. And they're already going to Kevin Jepsen. Jepsen on the year, 0-1. A 2.86 ERA in 22 games. He has 9 saves and 10 opportunities. This is a save opportunity. 22 innings. He struck out 27, walked 14 batters. Opponent's just batting .235 against the righty. Jepsen out of Chandler, Arizona. Last year for the Quakes. Had an ERA up above 10. But that was last year. And this year he has been quite effective. One of the top relief pitchers in the Southern Division. So Juan Senrizo now at the plate. He's 0 for 3 so far, batting with runners at first and second. Senrizo has a tendency to tomahawk balls and send choppers to the infield. We're hoping to avoid that right here. He shows bunt, but they'll look back to second base. Comes without a throw. On deck for High Desert is Rusty Brown. So Senrizo, the Mavericks' leading power hitter, called upon to play small ball, laying one down here. He squares around. The pitch is on the way. That one, the bunch is on. It's in front of the plate. Good-looking bunt. Up with it is Collins. A throw to first. Gets by the first baseman. Coming around from third base to score is Valentine. On his way to second is Senrizo, and to third is Sadolka. And High Desert has tied it up here in the top of the 8th inning. Another Rancho Cucamonga error. And we're going to get an update in just a moment on who the error is going to be on. But the Mavericks continue to take advantage of some shoddy Rancho Cucamonga fieldwork. The 4th error of the game for the Quakes. And High Desert now has the go-ahead run just 90 feet away as Rusty Brown steps in. Mavericks looking for a sacrifice fly, perhaps even better here in this situation. Still nobody out here for the Mavericks in the top of the 8th inning. So Senrizo tries to sacrifice, and there he is standing at second base. He will get credit for the sacrifice. More about that in a moment as the first pitch to Brown. Fouled back behind home plate. And the count now 0-1 on the Maverick DH. 4-4 tie here. Top of the 8th inning. Still nobody out for the Mavericks. Jepsen looking in. The Quakes infield, in on the grass. The 0-1 on the way, and that one is taken inside for a ball. The count now evened up 1-1 on Rusty Brown. That's going to be a sacrifice and an error on catcher Michael Collins. The 1-1 to Rusty. Curveball. That one taken for a strike, and the count now 1-2. Looks like Brown was looking fastball and stepped out a little bit early. Couldn't make the adjustment and swing at that pitch. So the count now 1-2 in the pitcher's favor. Mavericks taking advantage of a wild pitch and another Rancho Cucamonga error this inning. Jepsen sent the 1-2 to Brown, swung on and tapped foul into the Quakes dugout. And Rusty really had to extend those long arms a bit and just flick the wrist to get a piece of that last one. So good job of staying alive by Rusty Brown. And it's still 1-2 on the batter. 4 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Mavericks. 4 runs, 4 hits, 4 errors for the Quakes. 1-2 the count. Jepsen sent the pitches on the way. The fastball whacked foul out towards the party zone here in Rancho Cucamonga. Down by the picnic and picnic table area. They have some other kinds of ballpark fare out there. You don't always just have the traditional hot dogs and peanuts and Cracker Jacks over in that area. There are more exotic things like sushi and pizza. Just part of the ballpark atmosphere here at the epicenter. 1-2 on Brown. The next Jepsen offering is lined to the right side. That's into right for a base hit. 1 run in for the Mavericks. Holding at third is Senriso. But a 2-strike base hit by Rusty Brown gives the Mavericks a 5-4 lead here in the top of the 8th inning. All 3 of those runs charged to Joe Torres. So you can now close the book on him. Torres does not give up an out. Gives up a hit. Does not get an out, I should say. Gives up a hit, walks 2, and is responsible for all 3 runs. It's now 5-4 High Desert. Still nobody out for the Mavericks in the top of the 8th. Runners at the corners now for Tommy Duenas. Duenas in his last at-bat extended his hitting streak to 5 games. And meanwhile, Rusty Brown now 3 for 4 in this game. And Rusty just came up with RBI number 31 on the year. A base hit to the right side of a drawn-in Quakes infield. First pitch to Duenas. He drives one deep to left field. That one way back, and it is gone. A long home run. Tommy Duenas, a 3-run shot, and the Mavericks now lead this one by a score of 8-4. The only question was whether it was fair or foul, and that one was most definitely fair. The Mavericks jumping all over the Quakes here in the top of the 8th inning. 6 runs now on the scoreboard. 3 credited to Torres, 3 to Kevin Jepsen. And High Desert has broken this game open. They now lead by 4 runs. Ryan McFall now hoping this inning continues. High Desert so focused at the plate, just waiting for their opportunity. It came here in the top of the 8th inning. The first pitch on the way to McFall, and that one misses low. The count now 1-0. High Desert trying to win their 7th consecutive game against their Quakes, the 6th consecutive in this 7-game set, and their 8th consecutive overall as the next pitch is swung on and missed. And the count is now evened up at a ball and a strike on the Mavericks right fielder. And it has been the defense that has really been the Achilles heel tonight of Rancho Cucamonga. The next pitch is flared out towards right field. Backing up with the ball is Sutton, and he makes a running basket catch. Is back to home plate. A nifty defensive effort by the second baseman, and that'll be the first out for the Mavericks here in the 8th inning. This has been the story of the series, the way this game has gone tonight, at least thus far. Mavericks falling behind early, and then just waiting and waiting and waiting. Patient. Patience is a virtue. And then they break it open here in the top of the 8th inning. First pitch to Lucas is taken low for a ball. The count now 1-0 on the Mavericks' third baseman. Meanwhile, for the Quakes in the bottom of the 8th, it's going to be Sandoval, Riley, and Collins as the next pitch misses low and inside. And the count 2-0 as Collins heads out to the mound to have a word with Jepsen. Oh boy, you can tell how badly this Maverick squad wants this win. They are all on the front of the railing. And with each hit, each base hit, each extra base hit, and each walk, everything to put a runner on base, the Mavericks hopping up and down. They are excited to be in this pennant race. The 2-0 taken for a strike on the corner,
And it's now 2-1 on Ed Lucas. The 2-1 on the way, and that one is taken low and away. The count now 3 balls and 1 strike on the Mavericks' third baseman. Now, if you're just tuning in, Joe Torres started the inning for Rancho Cucamonga. Walked 2 batters, gave up a hit. All 3 of those runners came across to score. The 3-1 is hit to the right side. That's going to be a base hit into right field, going the opposite way as Lucas. That's his second hit of the ball game, and the Mavericks have now bat around here in the 8th inning. The 9th man to step to the plate here is Irving Falu, still only 1 out. 6 runs in for the Mavericks. They lead it 8-4, and another trip out to the mound by Eric Bennett. This is the 3rd appearance on the mound by the Rancho Cucamonga pitching staff this inning. Well, last night, you remember, the Mavericks fell down 2-0 early, and then rallied for the final 7 runs of the ball game. Well, so far tonight, Mavericks fell behind 4-0 after 3, but since then, 8 unanswered runs. And it's the Mavericks 8 and the Quakes 4. Irving Falu now the batter. Irving so far in this game 0 for 3. He drew a walk back in the first, trying to extend that inning streak to 9 games here. First pitch on the way from Jepsen, and that's lined up the middle. A base hit to center field. The Maverick 8th inning continues. Lucas over to second, and Irving Falu now has a 9-game hitting streak as Kevin Jepsen came in to try and get some outs here for the Mavericks. He's only recorded 1, and that was just because of a great defensive effort by Nate Sutton. As High Desert alive and well here in this 8th inning. Over Perez now the batter. He started this inning with a walk, and that came on a 3-2 pitch from Joe Torres. Imagine what happened if Torres got that pitch over the plate. First pitch line foul back against the backstop, and it's now 0-1 on the Mavericks' second baseman. With a big hit in this inning, a 3-run home run to Tommy Dueña for some valuable insurance. Ball chopped to the left side. The third baseman, Sandoval, goes to the bag for 1. The throw across the diamond, not in time. So the lead runner is retired. Lucas out at third. Falu over to second. And safe at first with a force out is Perez. So he is now 0 for 3 in this game. And that's going to bring up Geraldo Valentin to the plate with a runner at second base and 2 outs. Jepsen looking in, right-hander set. First pitch to Valentin. Misses upstairs, and the count now 1-0 on the High Desert left fielder. Valentin a single to right field earlier in the inning against Joe Torres. Swim on the 1-strike pitch. The 1-0 is hit on the ground to the left side. Past the diving Sandoval being waved home. Here comes Irving Falu. Throw will not be in time. The throw to be both runners advancing on the throw. That is an RBI single by Geraldo Valentin. He's now 3 for 5 in this game. That scores Falu, and the Mavericks lead this one 9-5. 7 runs coming across the plate this inning. And that ties the biggest inning of the year for the Mavericks. Meanwhile, Bobby Mitchell has seen enough of Jepsen. Jepsen now out of the game. Time another call for the pen. There's the 12th hitter about to come to the plate for High Desert here. The bottom, or I should say the top of the 8th inning. Mavericks have already put up a 7th spot, but stay tuned, Mavericks fans. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Well, Mike Sedolka stepping in. He's the 12th man to come to the plate this inning for High Desert. They lead it 9-4 over the Quakes. We're still at the top of the 8th inning. Runners at second and third for the Mavericks. As the first pitch is on the way, and that misses outside. The new Rancho Cucamonga pitcher, right-hander Dan Hawkins, coming in. After Kevin Jepsen went 2/3 of an inning. Gave up 5 hits, 4 runs. They were all earned. 3 were earned, and is responsible for the runners at second and third. The 1-0 is taken inside for a ball, and the count now 2-0 on Sedolka. Hawkins on the season. 1-1 with a 9.12 ERA. Opponent's batting .375 against the righty. Hawkins out of St. Petersburg, Florida. The 2-0 to Sedolka, taken just low and away for a ball. It's now 3 balls and no strike. Might be trying to pitch around him. Let's try and work to Juan Senrizo here. First base is open. The 3-0 misses low and away. That's ball 4. The base is now loaded for Senrizo, who laid down a sacrifice bunt earlier in the inning, but the throw from the catcher Collins to the first baseman Lopez was wide of the bag. That allowed Geraldo Valentin to come around and score the tying run. That was the 4th run of the game for the Mavericks. High Desert has come up, though, with 7 runs here in the top of the 8th inning and lead 9-4. First pitch from Hawkins to Senrizo is driven out towards deep center field. Going back to the ball is LeBlanc. Looks like he has his sights on it. Waiting underneath it. He makes the catch, and that'll do it for the Mavericks here in the 8th inning. But what an 8th inning it was. When you add it all up, the Mavericks tie their longest inning of the year. Their biggest inning was 7 runs. Of those 7 runs, we believe 6 were earned, but we'll let you know in just a moment. And they came on 6 hits, including a 3-run home run by Tommy Duenas. There was 1 error, and the bases were left loaded. So we're heading now into the bottom of the 8th inning. The Mavericks with a 9-4 lead. Don't go anywhere, Mavericks fans. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Since then, he's had some better outings as the 1-1 pitch is on the way now and swung on and missed. That fastball up at 93 miles an hour. And the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes on Sandoval, who's already struck out 3 times today. Atencio trying to give him the golden sombrero. 1-2. Here it comes, and that's swung on and missed. The ball gets away from Duenas, so he recovers, picks it up to throw to first in time. And Freddy Sandoval now 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. Well, we have a final. Inland Empire, they held off Visalia. Final score in that one. 4-3 in favor of the 66ers. That was the word we just got up here in the press box. So the Mavericks need to hold on to this 9-4 lead.
if they want to keep pace with Inland Empire. First pitch to Sandoval, or I should say his first pitch to Riley is fouled off to the left side out of play, and the count now 0-1. So Atencio struck out his fourth of the year and has looked sharp ever since that first outing for the Mavericks much earlier in the week. So the count 0-1. That was actually last week, his first outing. The next pitch, a fastball for a strike on the corner. That fastball up at 94 miles an hour. And it's now 0-2 on Pat Riley. Atencio's slider, rated as the best slider in the Kansas City Royals minor league organization. And he has some nasty stuff. 0-2. The pitch is on the way. That's swung on and missed on the changeup. Riley goes after him. There are now 2 outs here for the Quakes, both on strikeouts at the bottom of the 8th inning. And that will bring up Michael Collins to the plate. Collins 0 for 2 so far today. Walked, stole second, scored in the second. Lined into a double play in the 6th. 9-4 Mavericks lead it. High Desert with a 7th spot at the top of the 8th inning. As the next pitch is lined down to right field, McFall will be there. Moves back towards the corner. One hands it. And that's a 1-2-3 inning for Greg Atencio and the High Desert Mavericks. So through 8 innings of play here at the Epicenter, it's 9-4 High Desert. Don't go anywhere, Mavericks fans. The 9th inning coming up right after this. What an addition Tommy Duenas has been to this Mavericks team this year. The catcher has a knack for the dramatic home runs. He had a 3-run home run in front of a 7-run Maverick top of the 8th inning. Duenas was not even expected to be on this Mavericks roster to start the year. High Desert expected to have catcher Brady Everett shooting up in High Desert, but Everett broke his hand in spring training. He is now shooting up for the Burlington Bees. Tommy Duenas, the Mavericks. And boy, more than making the most of his opportunity as the first pitch is whipped foul to the left side by Rusty Brown. And the count now 0-1 to the Maverick designated hitter. So Tommy Duenas coming over from the Angel system and fitting in so nicely. And another one of those very well-respected batters in this Maverick clubhouse. He stands in on deck as the next pitch hits Rusty Brown. That one hits him on the side. And Rusty trots down over to first base. No bad blood between these two teams so far this year. These two teams respect each other, and that was evident yesterday. Cody Fuller made a catch in the right field corner, and making the catch, he slipped and fell down. Kind of an awkward play. It was a good-looking play, and he hung on to the ball, but when he got up, the Mavericks bullpen over down the right field line. They all asked, "You all right, man? You doing okay? You all right?" He said, "Yeah, I'm okay." He was just a little bit embarrassed for slipping and falling. So here's Tommy Duenas. His last time up, he cracked a 3-run home run. Broken back. Ground ball to the right side. Held it first by the first baseman Lopez. The throw to Rodriguez in time, and they turn the double play. Getting back to the pitcher, Dan Hawkins covering. So that goes as a 3-6-1 double play. And Rusty Brown had a hold near the first base bag as that one Wallace was caught on a line drive by the first baseman, Lopez, but he let it bounce, and they turned the double play. So Brian McFall now the batter. And the first pitch is taken low for a ball. The count now 1-0. 2 outs for the Mavericks. Top of the ninth inning, High Desert leads this one by a score of 9-4. Next Hawkins' offering is driven out towards right field. Long run for Remley. Can he get there in time? He dives and makes a terrific catch. Diving head first on the dirt of the warning track. Cliff Remley, the versatile defender. He can play first base, and boy, can he play a mean right field. Well, he comes up with a diving catch to keep the Mavericks off the scoreboard in the ninth. They go 1, 2, 3. We're now heading to the bottom of the ninth. We'll see if High Desert can hold on to this lead. 9-4 Mavericks over the Quakes. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this. Three against the Storm, 3 against the Port, and then 2 against Rancho Cucamonga. The first pitch is bounced into center field. A base hit from Sean Rodriguez. Rancho Cucamonga gets the leadoff batter aboard in the ninth. Rodriguez now 2 for 4, and he just continues to hit and hit and hit against the Mavericks. Rodriguez, one of the more polished hitters in the California League, does a good job of going up the middle there, and also has excellent opposite field power. So Ben Johnson now at the plate for the Quakes. Meanwhile, in the bullpen, just in case things get hairy. Oh, Gabe DeHoyo starting to get loose. First pitch to Johnson, down to the right side. Sadolka over to Falu for 1. The return throw to Atencio is in time. They turn the double play, and there are quickly 2 outs with nobody on base for the Quakes in the bottom of the ninth inning, and the Mavericks leading 9-4. That's the second 3-6-1 double play we've seen in this inning. And now it's up to Baltazar Lopez. The Mavericks on the verge of winning their 8th straight game, and in this 7-game home-and-home series with the Quakes, moving to 6-0. First pitch down to the right side, Sadolka. There he's going to take it to the bag himself, and that's another character-building win for the High Desert Mavericks. An excellent effort in the later innings by the Mavericks. They put up a 7th spot in the top of the 8th, and the Mavericks spoil a fireworks night here at the Epicenter, defeating the Quakes by a 9-4 count. The Mavericks' 8th win in a row. High Desert, though, did not get help from Visalia today. The Inland Empire 66ers held off the Oaks 4-3, so the Mavericks stay a half a game behind Inland Empire, and that means nothing. Well, it means the Mavericks will have to play a meaningful game on Monday, unless, well, things go bad tomorrow. We'll talk about all that in the post-game show coming up after this, but the Mavericks win today, final score 9-4. In an excellent character-building victory. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Valley Eye Toyota Honda post-game show coming up right after this. Another excellent effort in the later innings by the High Desert Mavericks. They trailed 4-0 for most of the game. They got 2 in the top of the 6th, 7 more in the top of the 8th inning. High Desert goes on to win this game 9-4 for the second consecutive night. They come up with the unanswered runs. Last night it was 7 unanswered runs by the Mavericks to win 7-2. Tonight, 9 unanswered runs. High Desert again winning 9-4. Mavericks moved to 38-31. High Desert has now won 8 in a row. Rancho Cucamonga falls to 32-37. And at this point of the season, you start to wonder what happened if that horrific call a couple Friday nights ago here at the Epicenter didn't go against the Mavericks. You remember that call where Adam Donnie, it appeared to tag a runner out well in front of home plate, but the replacement umpire called him safe. Well, enough of that. We're not going to dwell on the negative. This is a positive day to be a High Desert Mavericks fan. Once again, High Desert's a come-from-behind victory, winning 9-4. In this game, winning pitcher is Greg Atencio. He is 2-0. The loss goes to Joe Torres. On the season, Torres now 2-2. And we're going to have a time of the game in just a moment. 2 hours, 53 minutes. And the time, the attendance today, 5,163. Now we're joined by a very special guest here, Rob Sinclair, the play-by-play man for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. And, there were a lot of people listening in on TV today. Or listening in, I guess, well, maybe if they're blind, they're listening in. But watching it on TV. And that must be a lot of fun being able to really get to, you get so many games on the radio each year, but also games on TV. Everything goes smoothly today in the broadcast?
It did. It's still a learning process. I mean, we're doing 10 games on TV this year. I think tonight was our 5th. So it's leaps and bounds better and leaps and bounds more comfortable for me from the first time I did it. But still, I'll be looking forward to tomorrow to going back onto the radio and getting back into that comfort zone. I mean, you do something one way 400 times, and then you got to switch it up and do TV. It's an adjustment period.
Everybody out here is learning. Everyone's learning and trying to get better at what they do, from the official scores to the broadcasters, the beat writers, and most importantly, the players on the field. Now, it's really been a rough week for the Quakes.
It has.
And there's no doubting it. They've now lost 6 straight in this series of the Mavericks, 7 straight against the Mavericks overall. Now, I'm not going to try and ask what positives you can find in this series because it's really been quite horrific for Rancho Cucamonga. But what can you take? What are you looking for tomorrow when the Quakes come out that can try and get them a winning streak, build on something and get them some momentum as you head into the second half?
I mean, that's really the million-dollar question. I thought we got a great start from Fernando Rodriguez tonight. 7 innings, I think gave up 2 runs. 7 innings, 2 runs, neither one of them earned with 7 strikeouts. So, I mean, a quality start for Fernando Rodriguez. We swung the bats well. We didn't have a whole lot of offense, but Buckner ran into some problems there in the second through 43 pitches, walked 4 guys. We were able to take advantage of that. LeBlanc had the big hit, and Riley hit that home run. But, we had those 2 scoring innings and then nothing. And I think that's the thing. And you saw it. The Quakes offense needs to be greedy. You can't just have, like we had up in High Desert, where we scored, in 5 separate innings. That was great, but it was 1 run. Then we had the game where we got 5 in one inning, 3 in another, but the other 7 innings we didn't have anything. The Quakes need to go out there with, fire in their bellies and try to get a couple of runs early, a couple of runs in the middle, a couple of runs late, and just keep the pressure on, because tonight the offense just disappeared in the last 2/3 of the game.
Again, this is Rob Sinclair. Rob, really having a great effort here for you. Working overtime, coming on the High Desert Mavericks post-game show, the Valley High Toyota Honda post-game show. Now, of the 6 wins by the Mavericks in this head-to-head series, 5 of them have been come-from-behind wins. Now, what is it? What's been going on with the Quakes? Is it the bullpen? Is it just that killer instinct that they can't just put teams away when they take the lead? Why don't you just tell us just why the Mavericks have been able to come back into these games?
Well, I think you definitely have to give credit to the Mavericks, first and foremost, for not getting down, for realizing that they are in a fight to the finish with Inland Empire, realizing that they can't accomplish a lot of the goals that they set forth for themselves at the beginning of this year. The bullpen has not been great for the Quakes. The ERA is good. What concerns me about the Quakes bullpen is the walks compared to the strikeouts. There's too many free passes late in the game. And this Quakes team is looking for the consistency, and they haven't had it. So when you're playing close games, you want to make your opposition earn what they get. And with the walks late in the game, you just put yourself behind the 8 ball. And then, like tonight, 4 errors did not help the cause at all. And Quakes have left guys on base. They haven't. I think it's a combination of everything. I think it's a combination of the High Desert going out there and fighting to the end, and the Quakes not doing a good job of putting them away, in my opinion.
You're absolutely right. The Mavericks are a team in this series with just so much to gain in the pennant race, and they're playing every single game as if they were in October right now.
Right.
And then you have the Quakes, who, they fell behind in the series, and then once they got eliminated from the first half title contention, this is a team which just didn't have as much to gain with all these wins. So you have one team that is just so focused and so ready, so right at the plate, and another team, I don't want to say they're in the dog days of summer, but just not as much to gain as the Mavericks, and, well, that's the difference. That's why High Desert, I think, has won 6 straight.
Right, and I mean, what I would really like to see tomorrow, and this, I don't want this to come out the wrong way, but I would love to see, whoever we're starting tomorrow, come out, establish the inside, maybe get a guy or two, brush a guy back, you come out and don't take this anymore.
Well, we got Kyle Chris going tomorrow, so we'll brush a couple guys back there. Chris leading the league in hit by pitches.
Right.
I don't mean for you to dwell on this negative here. I mean, it's awfully tough, and it shows a lot of character here, Rob, for you to come in and stand up. And it's been a tough losing streak, and I know when the Mavericks go on losing streaks, I'm angry at the world, bitter. And, no, we appreciate you having on the show. Just one last question.
Sure.
And again, I'm going to have you comment on the Mavericks again. Sorry to have to do this to kick you while you're down here. But who on the Mavericks has really impressed you over this last week that you've seen them?
Mike Sadolka has impressed me throughout the year. He's really been, I think, the key for you guys. And being the lone left-handed hitter some nights, I think he carries a lot of burden. I'll tell you the guy who has really come on in my eyes is Geraldo Valentin. Coming into that series up in Adelanto, I saw the lineup and I thought, okay, maybe Falu hurts us. Definitely we have to worry about Sadolka. I never thought quite about Geraldo Valentin, and he absolutely went off, and he has continued to really swing the bat well. Valentin, I don't want to say he's come out of nowhere, but certainly the first times that we played each other, I didn't worry about him running through the lineup. Now he's definitely on the radar. I've been really impressed by Valentin.
It's just a different story these days. It's a team that's getting production 1 through 9 of the lineup. And what I've been saying, I talked about, is just so much production from Tommy Dueñas, really one of the unsung heroes on this team. We weren't even sure if we were going to get Tommy Dueñas this year. They're looking for a catcher named Brady Everett, who finished the year with us last year. He's in spring training. He was extended in spring training, rehabbing a broken hand. He's now playing for our low A affiliate. But Tommy Dueñas, it's not like he's just making the most of his situation. I mean, he's factoring in here in every game he's playing in. He now has a 5-game hitting streak and has 2 consecutive games with a home run. So he's turning into being another one of the Mavericks' power hitters. Well, I know you're busy. You're here home. It's a long homestand for the Quakes. So I tell you, get back to work there. Really appreciate you coming on the show. Thanks so much, Rob.
Rosen, anything for you?
Hey, maybe we'll talk to you tomorrow in the High Desert Mavericks Clubhouse show. Some more stuff to chit-chat about.
I think we can plan on that.
All right. Well, you want to tune in tomorrow. Again, the High Desert Mavericks Clubhouse show will begin at 1:15 p.m. at the Epicenter. That was Rob Sinclair, play-by-play man for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. Now, back to the High Desert Kia key hit of the game. And the High Desert Kia key hit of the game is actually going to be on a sacrifice bunt and a throwing error. It was off of the bat of Juan Rizzo, trying to move runners over. And, well, you remember what happened. The throw, Michael Collins fielded the bunt through to first base. The throw was wide of first. And that allowed Geraldo Valentin to score from second. Valentin scoring the tying run in this game. Mavericks, well, that was just part of that 7-run 8th inning, tying the season high in runs in an inning this year. Of course, that was June 13th, just a couple days ago, that the Mavericks put 7 up against the Quakes. But today, High Desert, 7 more in the 8th inning. 8th was great. And, of course, there was that bomb home run. Tommy Dueñas lifted one well beyond the left field wall for a 3-run blast. The only question was it was going to say fair or foul, and that one definitely wrapped around the foul pole. So congratulations to the Mavericks, Juan Rizzo. Excuse me, the High Desert Kia key hit of the game. It's also time the Aloha Liquidation Systems player of the game, and that one too will go to Tommy Dueñas for that home run we also talked about. Dueñas finishing 2 for 5 at the plate, 3 RBIs, and we also saw, after the Mavericks hit Pat Riley with a pitch, Tommy Dueñas really acting as the Mavericks ambassador. And really one of the captains of this High Desert team had something to say to Riley as he was walking down the first baseline. This is a Maverick team that will not take guff from any other team in the league. This is a Maverick squad. That is excellent character. And that will speak their mind in Tommy Dueñas telling Pat Riley a thing or two as the two walk side by side down the first base path together. And Dueñas, though he came over from the Angels organization, he never played with Pat Riley. Riley, of course, last season spent in Orem in the rookie league. Well, that's just about going to do it for us up here. Want to remind you, the line scores in this final game, and this, I should say, the Saturday night game. For the Mavericks, 9 runs, 11 hits, no errors. For the Quakes, 4 runs on 5 hits with 4 errors. Winning pitcher in this game, Greg Atencio, 2-0. Joe Torres, the loss. He's 2-2.